Sai Bhai is with me. Mr. Gavaskar, it was going to be a tough encounter for India first up. All the talk was around India-Pakistan, but heart of heart, you knew that whatever happens in this match is going to set the tone for the World Cup. And the performance that India has given should now probably send warning signs to the rest of the teams participating?
Definitely, because what they've shown is how they can recover, despite the fact that they had their backs to the wall, the kind of fight back that we saw. That was most impressive. And also the bowling. I think we mustn't forget that this is a good Australian batting lineup, but this Australian batting lineup was restricted to under 200. So all-round performance. And the fielding, again, I mean, that was one thing which we thought was a bit of a weak link as far as India was concerned. It was a total all-round performance. Very, very good performance. Well begun is half done. And I do believe that, India have now open the doors for themselves, because now the confidence level will go up. And so I think other teams, as you said, better watch out.
It's not just the confidence level of the players. We're going to show you some pictures right now on your screens, and it'll tell you the confidence level of the fans too. Remember, the World Cup, this was day 4 of the Cricket World Cup, but there were occasions where you saw that the World Cup fever was kind of missing in India, and everyone was waiting for the India game. The pictures that you will see on your screens will be that of fans celebrating, which in turn tells you that the World Cup, which was to begin for Indian fans today, has got off to a bumper start. You're seeing those pictures right behind me. It is got off to a bumper start simply because India have won. But we heard from the fans talking about Virat Kohli. Yes, they were nervous when you were, 3 wickets down for just 2 runs on the board. But you heard from them. They knew that till the time Virat is there, they weren't too worried.
That's true, I think, because his experience was needed to guide Rahul as well. Mustn't forget Rahul's innings as well. 97 not out, terrific innings. He didn't put a foot wrong. Kohli had a bit of luck when that easy catch was dropped, but Rahul didn't put a foot wrong. It's so good to see Rahul play the way he's playing, because look, we've all known the ability that he's had, the talent that he's had. It's just that somehow, he's given the impression that he somehow doubts his own ability. Now, not this time around. What we saw against Pakistan when he got that brilliant 100 in Colombo. And then now, the way he's batting now, I think it really augurs well for India for the rest of the tournament. You have somebody coming in at number 5 who can hold the innings together, which is so important, because this is exactly what you needed. You wanted an opening bat at 5, because if the new ball bowlers, did some damage, you want an opener, because Rahul is a test match opener. Somebody who can then know what to do with the moving ball and play accordingly. So fantastic performance from him. Let
me try and get Suresh Raina as well. Do we have Suresh with us? And then we can cut to him and take that reaction as well. I'm told that, yes, he is with us. This is something that I'd asked Sunny Gavaskar earlier. Suresh, what do you reckon? Now the world... Anyway, India went into this tournament as one of the favourites, but after this performance, from the situation that they were registering that win, now the rest of the teams participating are going to take note of that and know how dangerous this Indian team is going to be in this tournament?
Absolutely. The way Rahul and Virat Kohli batted, they showed the real character. It's not easy to bat in Chepak Stadium. The moment we lost 3 wickets up front, I think that showed a lot of responsibility from these 2 guys. They looked very confident. I think you need some sort of a partnership against Australia. They are world champions and they know how to play in such situation. I think credit goes to Virat Kohli and Kohl-Rahul. They batted really well.
They needed a bit of a partnership, as Suresh is mentioning there, Sai. Just looking at it from Australia's point of view, you seemed at one stage Stark was, really troubling the batters. Hazelwood was doing that as well. But you gave them a 3-4 over spell and then took them off. Is this something that Cummins could have done differently? We saw Cameron Green come in pretty early, and then you went with the spinners. Maybe an extended spell to put more pressure on the Indian players?
Definitely. Because look, the white ball stops moving after about maybe 6-7 overs or thereabouts. So I think your best bowlers, who are your best bowlers? Your best bowlers are Stark Cummins himself and Hazelwood. So they picked the wickets. So they should have been given an extended spell. Maybe one of them could have been given a 4-over spell and Cummins could have come in there. And then when after 2 more overs were bowled from the other end by either Stark or Hazelwood, they could have been replaced and somebody else who had been taken off could have been brought from that end. So the pressure was constantly on. And I think we didn't see that. And that's going to be one of the weaknesses of the Australian team because even when they came and played the Test series earlier on in the year, in February, March, you saw that once Cummins went home, sadly, because his mother wasn't well and who sadly passed away. When Steve Smith took over as captain, the tactically, the Australian team was that much more to be feared than when Cummins was the captain.
Well, that is true. In fact, this is something that a lot of people pointed out. Steve Smith, the captain, tactically very, very shrewd. It's unfortunate that a few incidents that happened in South Africa from there on just could not continue as captain. But many feel that probably the best captaincy option that Australia had. We saw those lapses in captaincy today when the Australian team were on top, but then allowed India to get back into the game. Suresh, talking about Virat Kohli's inning, Sunny Bhai spoke about how good he is in these circumstances. I can list about 5, 6 fantastic knocks, especially while chasing from Virat Kohli. If you had to rate this particular knock, does it rank among one of his best knocks in a successful chase?
Absolutely, absolutely. The way he batted, especially in Chepauk Stadium, the wicket looks very dry, a lot of spin, a lot of bounce. The way he took a lot of ones and twos. Initially, he started a brilliant partnership with KL. I think he showed he's going to be the amazing run scorer in this World Cup. We needed this win against Australia, so now hopefully we can play really well in upcoming games.
I want to know, is that a special quality that a batter needs to have? Because we've seen many are talented batters, but there are only a few that excel when there is a lot of pressure, when you have to chase a total, when situation is tricky. We've seen Virat do it at a consistent basis. Is there something else that a few batters have which allows them to do that?
I think you've got to be able to relish pressure. He relishes pressure. He does not want easy runs. When you're under pressure, all your runs are valuable. Every single run becomes valuable. And because that helps the side get from a tough situation into a comfortable situation. So relishing the pressure is the most important aspect. And that is what I keep on talking about, being able to absorb pressure, whether you're a bowler, when you've been hit for 3 boundaries in an over, to be able to come back and still bowl the next 3 balls well or get a wicket in that ball. That is what absorbing pressure and keeping your cool is. And that is what we saw from Kohli today. Yes, I think there is no batter born who does not need a little bit of luck at the start of the innings when you're not very sure what the bounce is, what the movement is going to be. But once that luck comes your way, you got to cash in on it, capitalize on it. And he's very good at it. I'm actually surprised he got out at 85, because if there's one batter who knows how to get 100, not score runs, how to get 100, it's Kohli.
But Sunny, we heard it from all fans, the ones that joined us from Chennai, then from Kolkata. After this win, everyone is saying that India will become champions. Now, if you look at it very practically, people will say it's just one game and you can't draw any sort of conclusion. But then somewhere down the heart of heart, I tend to agree with these fans, because you beat an Australian team, which is the most successful team in World Cup history, and you beat them in this fashion when you're really down and out, does give you confidence. And I'm looking across all teams, and I see a lot of teams which are strong contenders for this, but it does seem like this Indian team is made up of just completely different metal.
Well, this was the 5th match of the tournament. And if you look at the earlier 4 matches and you look at the 5th match, this was the true all-round performance. Bowling-wise, batting-wise. Look at the other performances. You could say that the batting dominated for a team which won, or the bowling dominated for the team that won. But here you see what has happened. Even the other day, yesterday in Delhi in South Africa. South Africa scored 427, but they conceded 350 runs as well. So you can't say that the bowlers came to the party. If Lanka had been dismissed for 150, you could have said, bowling, both performances. But here, the bowlers got a strong batting lineup under 200. I said at the beginning, if 250, 260 scored, our bowlers will have done well. So the bowlers actually gave the batters, look, 3 wickets down for 0. If you were chasing 260, we would have been in a real soup. But that didn't happen only because of the bowlers. So all-round performance. And so that's why I can understand the confidence of the Indian fans that this is going to be our tournament.
All right, those are, high praise, big words from Mr. Gavaskar himself, where he says this is going to be our tournament. I want to talk about the bowlers a little later. As I mentioned, shortly we'll have a treat for you. We'll look back at some of the finest knocks by Virat Kohli over the years, especially in successful run chases. We'll talk a little bit more about Virat, but for the moment, let me go across to Suresh. A word, I spoke to you about Virat, Suresh, but a word on Kohli-Rahul. He showed some good form as soon as he came back from injury, but today, did he show everyone his importance to this Indian batting lineup?
Absolutely, Kohl-Rahul impressed me the most, the way he batted against Pakistan in Asia Cup. He scored 100. After that, each and every knock he's been playing, he's taking a lot of time. He's rotating the strike really well, especially in middle overs. It's not going to be easy, especially when you play in such wickets, but he showed real character, and the way he took the responsibility, the way he took a lot of pressure off from Virat Kohli, he batted really well.
Saima, would I be wrong to say that aesthetically, looking at Kohli-Rahul, I was earlier going to draw a comparison which you wouldn't have liked. Sometimes his late cuts remind me of the great Gundappa Vishwanath as well. He hit a few of those. But just overall, aesthetically, is he one of the best batters that you've seen play this sport?
Well, look, Vishy and Kohli-Rahul come from Bangalore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he's played the late cut, that's probably because you would have seen videos of GRV playing the late cut, because he actually was playing it really late.
Very late.
There's a difference. I mean, Vishy used to play it literally off the wicket-keeper's gloves. Almost as the ball had gone to the wicket-keeper's gloves, and a couple of shots. The second late cut that he played of Zampa, earlier one was a little bit earlier. I mean, where his, just around his back foot, the second one was later. So, not surprised at all. But yes, I think aesthetically, he is as pleasing a batter as you would hope to see, because the balance is so good. So when he's moving forward or back, there's no hurried movement. There's no nervous looking prod at any deliveries. And this is the best thing that has happened to him after he's come back from that injury. Sometimes when you're out with an injury, you realize that maybe as a player, maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself. And that maybe you should just chill and look at it as a sport. And I don't know what the thinking is, but it looks as if he's enjoying being out there and playing. Yes, playing for India requires responsibility. Playing for India, there's pressure. But clearly, I think Kohli-Rahul is relishing what he's doing at the moment. And again, so when he's relishing it, he's enjoying it. That enjoyment comes through to the spectators at the ground and to viewers like us watching it on television.
Right. One thing I absolutely love when he's batting, it's like he's so gentle towards the ball as well, with the bat in hand. Doesn't look like it's going to hammer it, yet he hits them for 4s and 6s, and that's why it looks so pleasing. Anyway, that's quite a collection of some stunning knocks that he's got in successful chases. Does this one, we've not put this one because we don't know where it's going to rank, but does it come in the conversation?
Definitely. You've lost 3 wickets for 0 runs on the board. So you needed somebody to stabilize the innings at the same time, keep the singles and 2s coming. And there were so many times when the ball was around, and if Kohli was not the non-striker at the other end, it would have been a dot ball. But because he sensed an opportunity at that stage to take the single, he would run quickly from the non-striker's end, and Rahul would be able to go and take the single. So all those little things, ones that they were being stolen right from under the Australian fielders' noses, can be demoralizing to the fielding side. So you've got to not just see the runs, the effect that is having on the fielding side. So that's the kind of effect he was having. You could see from the body language that the Australians were looking at each other. Why wasn't that run stopped? It wasn't so far away. So when that starts to happen, then you know that the psychological battle is being won by you.
Okay, the psychological battle, and that's very important because that takes me to my next point. Suresh is still with us. As much as we are celebrating Virat Kohli's innings, we also have to thank an Australian fielder in Mitchell Marsh. He dropped his catch. Virat Kohli was on 12. Was that the turning point of the game?
Absolutely, that was a turning point when Mitchell Marsh dropped that catch. Virat must be, if you see after that, Virat knocks took a lot of times. He took a lot of responsibility. He calmed a lot. I think he played really well.
We spoke about in the mid-innings about Virat taking a stunning catch to dismiss Mitch Marsh. He had a chance at revenge, but spilled it.
Well, I mean, 2 years ago, when he was going through a lean patch, you guys were asking me what's wrong. And I kept saying to you at that stage, nothing wrong. But the first mistake that Kohli is making is turning out to be his last mistake. Someone was taking the kind of stunning catch that he himself took to get rid of him. Or somebody was, there was something that was happening where he was the first mistake inside edge being outbowled. Those kind of things were happening. In batting, you need a bit of luck at the start of the innings. And that was at the start of the innings. He was only 12 runs at that stage. So he wasn't quite certain of what the bounce is. That's an area. He eventually got out to the short ball as well. Yeah. So that's something that now all the other teams are going to try and get him maybe. And that actually might work in his favor, depending on what's the size of the ground. All he needs to do is probably get inside the line. If he gets inside the line, he's going to smash it. When he's hitting it from here, it's always difficult. Even for the great Viv Richards, who was probably the best puller of the ball, when you're hitting it on your back shoulder, unless you really get it smack bang in the middle of the bat, you might hit it up in the air. So if you're hitting it over your left shoulder, your front shoulder, you have better chance of controlling it. Yeah. And so all that he's got to do, if he does that, then, there'll be no problem at all. And
that's very interesting, Samir, you talk about it, because after that also there were a few short pitch deliveries bowled at him, but then he realized he let it go.
Correct.
He let it go.
Correct.
A mistake that he made earlier. I know you're enjoying our analysis here on India Today, but there is another thing that you all must be craving for, to actually view how India won this particular encounter. First, an outstanding spell of bowling by Ravindra Jadeja to restrict the Australian team to 199, followed by that partnership, that match-winning partnership between Kohl-Rahul and Virat Kohli. I'm afraid that's all the time that we have in this edition of Battle of Champions, but what a great Sunday we've had with the Indian team winning their World Cup opener against the most successful team in the history of the tournament. Thanking Mr. Sunil Gavaskar for joining us live on the program.